All right, so to get started, my name is Nayla Grisman, and Theo is here with me as well, and we are working on CommCare Sales within Dimagi. So just to give a brief overview of Dimagi for those who don't know, Dimagi is a socially conscious technology company. We have about 12 years experience developing mobile technology and implementing these with over 300 partners in about, it's actually close to 50 countries now, in partnerships with foundations and also some national governments. So the company is Dimagi, and our product is called CommCare. And CommCare is basically our open source cloud-based platform. It is, thus far, it is the most widely adopted and most technically advanced and most evidence-based mobile platform developed specifically for low resource settings. So what we mean by that is that the apps we build are entirely adapted to offline settings, meaning they can be used regardless of any type of network connectivity. And we find this is a huge bonus in really rural and remote locations. Furthermore, we are one of the only organizations where our mobile platform is entirely customizable by non-programmers. It's developed for anyone to be able to learn how to use it and add questions, customize their app as they wish. So a bit more on us. So when we talk about mobile technology, we are essentially, we mean that all the data is collected on the phone. We have apps that run on Android as well as certain feature phones. This data is then synced upon network connectivity with our server, which is a cloud server, and is then available in the backends on our database on our platform, which is called CommCare HQ, from where the management of these organizations can look at their workforce activity, monitor their workforce, get all types of customized reports out of that. Because we have open APIs, we're able to be integrated with other systems that organizations may already be using to analyze their data or keep track of their customers. To introduce CommCare Sales, the new solution that was specifically developed to address key challenges of last mile distribution. So talking to partners in this space, we found that a lot of organizations had issues getting real-time insight into, first of all, what was going on the grounds. When they have sales agents based in rural areas remotely, it's really hard to keep track of where they are, what they're doing on a daily basis, what leads they're creating, what customers they're registering. All of this data typically is collected maybe on paper or communicated via, haphazardly through phone calls or SMS, or sales agents are required to go to a cyber to type in their information. And all of this creates a lot of, the data becomes very error prone and prone to human mistakes, and it's slow to reach the headquarters. So basically what we developed is a suite of mobile apps that help alleviate these issues so that the head office has better insight into what's going on the ground, especially towards their sales and payment collection tracking for those organizations that are selling goods on credit. So to give a few examples of our current deployments, we're working with some companies across the world, as you can see. In Ghana, this is one of our newest partners. They are using the living goods model to distribute health products in rural communities. We work with the largest dairy producer in Senegal, which is a social enterprise as it sources its milk from nomadic pastoral communities. And you can see here some others, EGG Energy, which is presenting today as well, which do solar energy solutions for off-grid households. Now, let me just get out of here so I can unmute Malcolm. Or Malcolm, are you able to unmute yourself? I'm still getting used to this software here. Sorry, just a minute.
Yeah, I was muted, I think.
There you go.
Okay, so I'll introduce myself, yeah?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my name is Malcolm Wigmore, and I'm the CEO of EGG Energy, Egg Energy. Egg Energy is a social enterprise working in Tanzania, distributing rent-to-own solar home systems to households and small businesses off the electrical grid in Tanzania. Our systems go between 50 and 200 watt, and they are providing customers with lighting, of course, radios, TVs, fridges, haircutters, and a whole range of DC, 12 volt DC appliances. Our business model, the way that we spread information about our offering, is by having access to groups of people. They tend to be farmers, they may be members of microfinance organizations, they may be salaried individuals, government employees, they may be teachers, but generally we have mobile field sales teams who go out into the rural districts and regions of Tanzania and present to the groups that we've managed to negotiate an association with. Sometimes they can present to 10 people, sometimes it can be 500 people. It varies quite a lot. But as a result of the presentation of our solar home systems, we had a necessity to collect a lot of data in the form of names and addresses of customers and what products they were expressing an interest in. When we first started many years ago, we were just doing it on paper. We then identified a very simple app that could collect information, and our staff were very motivated by having technology to collect this information from customers. And about 18 months ago, Dimagi were introduced to us. I'm not quite sure exactly how, because I've only been with the company for a little over a year. But nonetheless, Dimagi were introduced to us, and all the indications were that their applications would be more than suitable for what we wanted to do. So around about 12 months ago, we started defining our business process, and it is very, very important that you do define your business process so it can be replicated on CommCare. Because if you haven't defined your process, then the system will just be quite erratic and so fortunately, we defined the process, and we basically followed the different steps, which, as you can see from the slide, start with sales. So that's collecting information on basic prospect information. Because our systems are on a rent-to-own basis, the customer pays a 10% deposit, and then they pay the remainder in 24 equal monthly installments via mobile money over 2 years. So it's quite important. There's a lot of information that we have to collect on CommCare to be able to establish whether they are suitably creditworthy or not. So CommCare collects that information. We then make an assessment using their web platform. We then receive the deposit, and we send our technicians out to do the installation. These are installed systems, solar panels on the wall and lights around the building and different appliances. At the point of system installation, there again is a lot of information that is collected: photographs, GPS location, additional information on the customer, and that is also collected on CommCare. To the extent that we've collected all that information and the customer goes live. Because we provide the system on credit over 2 years, we also do all our after-sales support. So not only do we record customer queries that come into our call center on the web-based system, when the technician goes out to attend to the customer, he records information about hopefully settling the technical query. So it goes step by step by step. The CommCare, we wrote the CommCare application so it absolutely mirrors the business process. So when it came to training all our staff and the use of CommCare, it was incredibly well received because there was nothing new. The business process, the steps, as you can see here, from creating a new prospect to the system installation, were very familiar to them because that's what they had been doing. So they were being given a tool that absolutely replicated the business process that we're very familiar with and saved them a lot of time and effort in collecting information in a much more ragged way previously. So when we did the training, it was incredibly well received and continues to be well received. And that very fact meant that people were a lot more motivated to use the tool properly and not try and shortcut systems. And indeed, because the system works on a step-by-step basis, it's very difficult for people to jump over a step because the system was built, so it just won't allow that. So it defined our process, and it gets followed in a very disciplined way, which reduces the number of problems we have and exceptions in the business that we have to contend to. Although it is reasonably rigid and it goes step by step, it still has the flexibility for us to change the process. So my technical manager, if we decide that the business process has to change and we need to get additional information, or information is now no longer required, or we put an extra step into the process, it is very, very easy for that to be modified by my technical manager, who's not a computer programmer. He can just go into the system, make the modifications, do the uploads, get everyone up to date with the new version, brief everyone, train them, and then it goes quite nicely. And we are gradually integrating additional aspects of the business into the database, so we can have access to our customer database, which stands at about 7,000 customers now. And so we are very happy with the system and its use in the field on smartphones. From the point of view of the web-based portal, we use that extensively in our call center. All our customers, we assess them as being either warm or hot. If they are, and that's done at the very early stage of creating the prospect. If they're hot customers, we call them from our call center every 2 weeks. If they're warm customers, we call them every month. So the web-based system has been set up so it actually spits out the number of customers that we need to phone every single day. We can either just do that on the web, or if we bring teams in and we don't have enough computers, we can quite easily print out lists of customers that are then phoned, the information put on paper, and then someone processes that onto the system at a later date, which enables us to have maybe 20, 30 people in the call center all working in the day without having to train them on using the system. We just get dedicated operatives to actually put that information at a later date. So I've installed a lot of IT systems over my career, and it's always been a battle between the IT software house trying to get me to modify my business model so it fits with their IT system, and which isn't ideal. The beauty of CommCare is you define your system and then you write the CommCare to replicate your system, so you don't have to modify the way you work to fit in with someone else's predetermined version of how I should be doing my business. So from that point of view alone, the flexibility and the way that you can do it in a bespoke way is absolutely superb, and I am exceedingly impressed with the system, its adaptability, and the ease of use with my staff. And just one final point, the fact that my staff are for the most part, Tanzanian. A lot of them don't speak English. So just the basic facility of being able to switch it from Kiswahili to English is of immense value as well to the business.
Great, thank you so much. I'm just going to leave it open in terms of if anyone has questions. All right, thank you so much, Malcolm. Feel free to stay on if you wish, or also perfectly fine to hop off. Thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, I'll stay. I'll stay. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. So just to continue from here, I wanted to introduce our sales and payments template app that we've created, which is essentially the use case that we find is frequently useful for social enterprises working in last mile distribution. And I'm just going to go over it very briefly. So the four main actions that it contains, let's say, is to register new customers. And as Malcolm was saying, we can add anything there, photos, GPS coordinates, etc. Number two, the second part is to issue a new invoice, so create a new sale to these customers. And number three, if the products were sold on credit, is to record each payment made against an open invoice. So this helps the sales agents keep track of who owes money, who owes what. The app can be customized to each organization's own requirements in terms of down payment, installment amounts, etc., credit terms, and we'll recalculate all of these depending on the individual customer's payment history, so to say. And once an invoice has been completely paid, has been fully paid, it can be removed from the phone also, just to keep it nice and clean. So to proceed, we are currently running a special offer, which some of you might be aware of, on CommCare Sales, the template app that I just demonstrated. It can be customized more or less to your workflow, but the main idea of it is to track sales and payments. So the special offer basically allows an organization to sign up with us. It includes 5 days of free support from our side, and you're able to deploy your app within 4 weeks. So there's limited slots available, and we're running this offer through the end of November. And we hope, it's a way for us to get the word out into this space, and we hope a lot of organizations can take advantage of this offer. So I just want to walk you through briefly the workflow, just to give a quick demonstration. So first, we register a new customer. I have some screenshots here. So when we select that, we are prompted to enter the customer's full name, their gender, after which, as I said, we can include anything we want in terms of their location, GPS, their phone number. As you see here, we can add all types of validation conditions, such as if the sales agent enters the wrong amount of digits, the phone can prompt them to go back and enter the right amount. Secondly, when we enter a new sale, go back to the main menu, click Sales, and we're brought with a list of our customers, the total amount of money they currently owe, and the last date of sales. And then when you click on the relevant customer, you can have some more information to verify that this is indeed the customer you want to issue a new invoice to. So we proceed. From there, you can customize to have your own products listed. You can opt to have the prices listed next to them. Some people like to do that. From there, we ask about credit terms. So this, again, can be customized for the organization. Some organizations only want to do upfront. Others allow for credit for a certain amount of months, or in EGG's case, even years. The frequency of payment can be set to weekly or monthly. And from there, each product that you selected in the first screen will show up to allow you to enter the quantity of units the customer wants to purchase. And finally, you're shown a summary page, which has the total bill amounts, the number of payments left to make, So as you see here, the number of payments is 4. This is because this organization requires upfront payment of 20% of the total bill, and the customer is elected to pay in 3 months of credits, so that equals 4 total payments. The next payment dates circled here is, this was set essentially today, and the 20% upfront payment comes to 430. So the app has calculated all of this. When the sales agent goes back to the main screen and hits record payments, they find the customer they just registered the sale to at the top of the list with the invoice number and the date they need to pay, which is today. From there, we find again some more information just to verify that this is indeed the right customer and the correct invoice. And from here, the app prompts us to pay for the total amount that is due today. So for an example, if the sales agent enters less than what is due today, for example, 400, the app gives a warning message saying if the customer is buying goods today, she needs to make the upfront payment to complete the purchase. So this would not be able to go through. When the sales agent enters at least 430 or above, the app allows you to proceed. And from there shows a summary page. If the customer had wanted to pay extra, maybe 600, the app would have recalculated with some credit amounts and readjust the next payment amount. So just to show some of the examples of business intelligence that a company can gain from using CommCare Sales, on the back end, we look at 3 main areas where you can get better insights into your workforce management, your products, and your accounting. So on the side of workforce, we can get an idea of comparative sales agent performance over time. This can help an organization set benchmarks in terms of developing appropriate management and incentive systems. On the product side, we can get insight into what products are bestsellers, which ones are outperforming others, and can also help optimize stock levels and product strategies. And on the accounting side, it allows for real-time insight into cash and accounts receivable to ensure that accounting is up to date. To give a really brief overview of the backend system, so CommCare HQ basically is a turnkey product. Again, this means that non-programmers are able to use it and adapt their apps to their specific organization's needs. So this is the home screen of the backend. You have all your applications on one dashboard. You can create multiple for your organization. Perhaps your sales agent needs one, your delivery guys need another, etc. So again, in order to customize your application, you're able to add questions and edit the app the way Malcolm was saying. His technical manager, who doesn't have a software background, can go in and make those changes. And it's very easy to then deploy a new version and just have your sales agents update their phones in order to have those changes be available to them. You're able to add new mobile users just with a few clicks. You are able to add products and edit prices as you go. And then, of course, in terms of you're able to export into Excel or other formats. You're able to save custom reports, which can then be automatically emailed to the responsible person at your firm. For example, accounting department might need one type of form. The manager might want to see a weekly overview on Monday morning, etc. And to be able to supervise your sales agents, there's a lot of forms which allow you to see when forms were created. So if we find a lot of sales agents creating forms at 10 p.m. at night, we might assume that they're creating fake entries, which is not uncommon. So you might want to investigate that further. And there's also things like checking the time it took for someone to fill a form. So if you find the average time to fill a form is about 5 minutes, to go through all the questions with the customer. If you find someone doing it in 20 seconds, you might also want to look into that, and it could be a sign of fraud data. And that's really it for now. So thank you very much for watching, and we just would like to have a bit of a conversation. If anyone has questions, feel free to unmute yourself and jump in.
Hi everyone. Hi Samuel. Hi Malcolm. Yeah, this is Kiran, a colleague of Nele. So I just wanted to kind of summarize the presentation that we did. So you can think of CommCare Sales as a platforms that you can leverage to basically build any workflows that is adapted to your organization to be able to improve basically the distribution of the last mile. So if you want to, like, the more complex is the workflow that you want to support and you want to build them on CommCare, you know, the longer the time it will take you to actually build the workflow and also to deploy. So we noticed that a lot of groups were facing this challenge of basically be able to build complex workflow. And that's why at the moment we offer this special offer. And the idea of the special offer is to basically reduce the setup costs and also to reduce the setup time investments required. So we developed this template application, which is the sales and payment tracking that Nele described. And this application was tested with around like 4 or 5 organizations, both in Africa and in India. And the idea is that we will work with groups to adapt this specific workflow to the specific distribution models that the company has. Again, the prototype is not exclusive, it does not exclude any other use case. You can probably build on top of this prototype different use case over time. So you can think of as a sort of roadmap that you can have, but you can think of the sales and payment tracking as the first block in the roadmap. And it would be like relatively straightforward to be able to add a sort of sales pipeline management in the same way the Egg Energy did it on the top of this sales and payment tracking prototype. So yeah, we'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys have regarding, you know, the special offers, also the prototypes that we have, or the back end of CommCare.
Hi, this is Malcolm. Just to say, this looks interesting, and it might be something that's quite appropriate for our business as we develop it, because we are likely to start marketing much smaller pay-as-you-go solar solutions in the future, and this sort of system will be very appropriate for that. I'm not sure we're going to be able to take advantage of your offer because I think it's slightly more medium term, but this is a very interesting development.
Great, thanks Malcolm. Good to hear. All right, and I suppose we can wrap up now. Thanks Malcolm again for joining, and
you're very welcome.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Cheers.